As always with these videos, I have so many fun things in front of me, so let's get right into it. So this video is not forever long. We are going to start with sunscreens. So many of you have asked me to please try some clean, mineral or physical SPFs for the face and body. So I purchased 11 more SPFs, well really 10, one of them is a repeat, but 10 new SPFs. Not all of them are winners, but they are all mineral SPFs. I will share all of them with you in the hopes to save you some money on the ones I didn't like, and then I will tell you the ones I will definitely repurchase or already have. If you're not interested in sunscreens, I will leave some timestamps down below, so you can just jump ahead. And as always, I will also link and list everything I'm talking about in this video down below. And if I happen to have a discount code, I will also link that down below in the info box. So let's get started with sunscreens. I purchased the Color Science Classic Body SPF. Like I said, I will share all of the SPFs I got with you, even the ones I wouldn't repurchase, and hopefully I can save you some money if you have been curious about any of them. This is one I probably would not repurchase. This is 4 ounces and it sells for $49, which I think is quite expensive for a body SPF. Though I did get this on Skin Beautiful RX, and with Skin Beautiful RX we always get 20% off, so that does help. But on top of the price, this is also a bit thick for my taste for a body SPF. It has a slight tint, but it does rub in. The tint doesn't really give any coverage or anything. It just sort of covers up any possible white cast, but you can see it takes a little bit to rub in. It is quite thick. Once it is rubbed in, it does basically disappear in the skin, maybe leaves the slightest bit of a white cast, but it is quite thick, so this is probably one I would not repurchase. Next, I have another, I would call body SPF because of the size. This is by Estrogen, and it is the Ultralight Emulsion SPF 50+. This is 100 ml or 3.4 ounces, and it sells for around $70, which is quite steep. However, I would repurchase this. I really like this one, and I have been using this quite a bit on my body, as well as my neck and my chest. So this is non-tinted. However, when we lived in Europe, I tried the tinted version of this, and I didn't really like it because it left a matte finish. I like a glowy finish, but I do like the untinted. It is very light. It is a very light lotion-like consistency. It does have added fragrance. However, I don't mind it. It smells very much like just about any European cosmetic. So it makes me feel like I'm back in Europe. I don't mind the smell, but if you are sensitive to fragrance, please note this does have added fragrance. It does sink in beautifully, doesn't really leave a white cast. It is water resistant for up to, let's see, for up to 40 minutes. I actually wore this yesterday when I went for a run, and I applied it on my arms and my legs, and it stayed on beautifully. I didn't feel like I was suffocating or anything. It is nice and light. Like I said, I like the scent. So this is one I would repurchase. Again, it is an SPF of 50+, and it uses 11% zinc oxide. It doesn't specify whether it is nano or non-nano zinc oxide, just 11% zinc oxide. And this also contains DNA repair enzymes. So this I would definitely repurchase. Next, I have the Lightsaver, which is one that has gotten really popular on social media. Now this is beautiful, and I can see why it has become popular. However, I will not repurchase this because the color is not quite right for me. It does have a beautiful consistency. It is sort of I have used quite a bit of it, so I will use it up, but I won't repurchase it. It is tinted, and it has sort of a moussey consistency, but, and you probably won't be able to tell on my hand, on my face, this is just a bit too beige for me. It just doesn't really match my complexion. If you're more olive than I am, this would be beautiful, and it is a beautiful SPF. It also does contain DNA repair enzymes, and it has an SPF of 30, but I won't repurchase this one. And next, I have Wurst. This you can actually find at Target, which is nice. And let's see, it contains 2.5 ounces and it sells for $21. So that's a great price point. It uses 15.2% non-nano zinc oxide, and it also contains iron oxides. This is one I would definitely repurchase, especially because of the price. I think it's a great price. Oh, by the way, it is an SPF of 35. It does have a slight tint. Again, a very light lotion-like consistency, really beautiful consistency. Sinks in beautifully. The tint really doesn't give any coverage, but just covers up any possible white cast. I really like this one. It matches my skin tone really well. And like I said, I would repurchase this. However, this does contain a chemical filter called, and I'm going to butcher this, Butyloctyl salicylate, which according to the internet is a nice multifunctional helper ingredient that's especially useful in sunscreens, since it increases the SPF rating of sunscreens and is also cosmetically elegant. But like I said, Butyloctyl salicylate, which I'm just going to call BS from now on because it is an impossible name to pronounce, is technically a chemical filter. So if you're looking for a pure mineral SPF, it is actually quite challenging because BS is put in a lot of mineral SPFs. So this does contain BS, and this one, by the way, does not. But while I'm not the biggest fan of the EWG, because I do feel they do quite a bit of fear-mongering, they rate BS between 1 and 3, so not bad at all. And the European Union has not yet banned BS, and I do feel the European Union is quite good about banning certain chemicals which might be harmful for us. So personally, I'm not concerned about BS in my sunscreen, but if you want a completely clean sunscreen, you might want to avoid it. Now, the word clean doesn't mean much, but in this context, I'm using it to say that these sunscreens only contain mineral filters, not chemical filters, which some of you have voiced your concerns about. Next, I have two by Josh Rosebrook. One tinted, one non-tinted. They both have the same ingredients, but like I said, one is tinted, one is non-tinted. I would not necessarily repurchase these, though the tinted version was one of the first tinted mineral SPFs years ago I really enjoyed. Back then it was quite challenging to find a nice mineral SPF that didn't make you look like a clown. This was one I really enjoyed back then, and I still think it's beautiful. However, I do think there are nicer ones out now, more affordable ones out now, but I'll show you two really quickly. So this is the tint. It is beautiful, and this does have some really beautiful ingredients in it. It is basically a moisturizer with a bit of SPF. Both the tinted and the non-tinted are an SPF of 30. I couldn't find anywhere, it does use zinc oxide, but I couldn't find anywhere on the internet the percentage of zinc oxide used. However, 1 ounce sells for $60. So for that reason, I would not repurchase these. And both of these also contain BS. Next, I have the, what is this one called? Let's see, they call it the BioShield by Young Goose. And you know I love quite a few products by Young Goose. And a few of you have asked me to try this. This is a beautiful SPF. It has a gorgeous silky consistency and a slight sort of peachy tint. It feels really, really nice. It is very silky and very hydrating. It does have an SPF of 40. The tint is just the slightest bit too light for my complexion, but if you're lighter than I am, the tint might be beautiful. However, one reason I was really hesitant to try this one and won't repurchase it because of that reason is that 1.7 ounces sells for $126, which is quite steep for an SPF. Now, if you don't mind spending that kind of money, this is gorgeous. It does not contain BS, but like I said, I think that is quite steep. And for me personally, for a sunscreen, not really sustainable. Next, I have the RMS. This is the Supernatural Radiance, what is this called? Supernatural Radiance Serum. And this comes in 3 different shades. Unfortunately, I got the wrong shade. This one is really, really dark. I should have gone with a lighter shade. But even in a lighter shade, I won't repurchase this because it is 1 ounce and it sells for, I believe, $60. I have to take a look at my notes. You can see it's definitely way too dark. It does feel beautiful though. It does have a very nice consistency. It has a bunch of beautiful ingredients, does not contain BS. But again, let me look at my notes real fast. Actually, I was wrong. 1 ounce sells for $48, which I think is still quite steep. So this one I won't repurchase, even in a different shade. And then next we have Bloom Effects. This is also one that has gotten very popular on social media, and I'm not quite sure why. I do love the packaging. I think it's gorgeous. The sunscreen itself is very thick. I can see maybe using this in winter when it's cold outside. It is really thick. Takes a while to rub in, but you can see the tint. I hope you can see. It's a bit grayish. I don't think it's the most flattering tint. And this also is quite expensive. This one is 1.86 ounces and it sells for $65. I just think when sunscreens are that expensive, one may have the tendency to not use enough. We know we need about 1/4 teaspoon for the face and neck. So I wouldn't necessarily use 1/4 teaspoon of this, for example, on a daily basis, because at $126 or at $65, I would want it to last for quite a while. So I just don't think it's sustainable when sunscreens are that expensive, and the tendency to not use enough is probably quite common. And then let's see what else do I have. Oh yeah, Clear Stem. This is one I have been loving, have already repurchased, and will continue to repurchase. In fact, I have this on right now. This is an SPF of 50 plus and contains 21% non-nano zinc oxide. It also contains iron oxides and green tea. It does not contain BS. This one I believe also doesn't contain BS. This, I think I mentioned, is an SPF of 50 plus and it is water resistant for up to 80 minutes. This is, like I said, gorgeous. I have it on my face right now. It does have a slight tint, and the tint gives just the tiniest bit of coverage, but not enough to make it look like makeup. It sinks in beautifully, it reapplies beautifully, and I do like that it is water resistant as well. So this is one I have already repurchased and have been using very frequently. As I mentioned, I have it on right now. This contains 2.1 ounces and it sells for around $40, so not too bad. And then lastly, I have one I have talked about but wanted to mention again because I have been loving it and I have already repurchased this as well. This is by Airy Days and it is the Pretty in Zinc. And one of you actually recommended this and I'm really glad you did because I am on my second one. This is a SPF of 50 plus. It is water resistant for up to 40 minutes. This contains 2.54 ounces. It is quite a big tube, but I have rolled it down a bit and it sells for $38. However, it does come from Australia and we have to pay shipping. But to me, it's well worth it. I get 2 of these. And actually, I reached out to the owner of the company that I get this from. Her name is Kate. She's super nice. And I said, Kate, if we buy this from you, can you give us some sort of deal? Because the shipping is $20. And Kate said she would love to. So if anybody wants to get Airy Days and purchase 2 of them, she'll give us $10 off. So this sells for $38, $10 off of 2, but it is $20 shipping. But to me, it's well worth it. It is a huge tube and I have really been loving it. I'll show you really fast. It also has a slight tint. It is quite similar in consistency to the clear stem. In fact, they are both very, very similar as far as tint, consistency, and they both, I feel, match my skin tone really well. So I hope this was helpful. These are, like I said, the mineral SPFs, the sort of clean SPFs I have really been enjoying out of all the ones I have tried. Now, of course, there are many more and I can't try them all. So if you have found a great mineral SPF you like, please share down below. Next, let's talk about fake tanning. I am not usually one for fake tanning. I have never had a spray tan, and I had pretty much given up on self-tanners, mostly because of the smell. I haven't tried too many. I've tried maybe a handful of self-tanners, and I gave up on them because I couldn't find one, even if they stated on the bottle that they didn't have a scent. Even if they didn't have a scent going on, usually when the tan develops, the fake tan develops, they would give off this just horrific smell that I cannot stand. And no matter how much I shower usually twice a day, I could not get rid of that smell for days. So I gave up on self-tanners. But I just, a couple of weeks ago, got this scent by the company. This is by Coco and Eve, and this is their self-tanning mousse. And I wanted to actually try this because I had heard good things about it, and I have to say, I love it. The last time I used it was 2 days ago, so you can see I have a slight tan. I don't really care about being tan. I don't want to look like Malibu Barbie, but because I used to be such a sun worshipper, I have so many sunspots, and on my legs, and I've talked about this in a different video, and I actually took you with me to get it treated. On my legs, I have a ton of broken capillaries. Now, that treatment I took you with me to didn't do anything, unfortunately. I had 2 of those treatments. It was a V-beam laser. Like I said, unfortunately, it didn't do anything. If you had that treatment on broken capillaries and it worked, please share your experience down below. I'm not sure what to do about these broken capillaries, but one thing I have noticed is when I have a bit of a tan, and of course I don't want to tan because of all the sun damage I already have, but when I have a bit of a tan, this is where this comes in, they are not quite as noticeable. So I have really been enjoying this because it does give me just a slight tan. It does camouflage some of the sunspots, the sun damage I have, and some of the broken capillaries. Of course, it doesn't cover it up completely, but it does sort of, camouflage it a bit. And this has 0 scent when it develops. Now, when it goes on, it actually has a lovely scent, sort of coconut. I really like it. It has kind of a beachy scent. But when it develops, and I was waiting for it, I applied it and I pretty much smelled myself every 10 minutes. I was waiting for that nasty smell to develop. Nothing. Days after, nothing. So this is quite amazing. It does give a nice tan. I mean, as nice as a self-tanner I think can give a tan. It is still a tiny bit yellowish. It doesn't look quite real, but I think it's good enough, again, to camouflage all the sun damage. But there is 0 scent when this develops, which I so appreciate. And the nice thing when you apply it, and it does come with this glove, which I throw in the wash afterwards, and you can see it comes out completely, which makes me believe that if you get this on your clothes, which I haven't gotten it on, that it would come out easily because it does come out of this glove, and I covered this glove quite a bit with this. So you apply this foam on this glove, and the nice thing is it does have a color going on, so you can see where you are applying it. This is the medium. It does come in 3 different shades. I don't think I need to go any darker, but if you have a darker complexion, it does come in 3 different shades. And I do like the glove, though it's not quite foolproof. I do have a few streaks, as you can tell. If you have any suggestions how to get this streak free, even with the glove, I did exfoliate beforehand and everything, but for some reason I still have some streaks. If you have any suggestions, please leave them down below. I am by no means a self-tanner pro. Also, if you have tried this, please let us know down below. Or if you have any other suggestions for self-tanners, especially the ones that don't develop that nasty after scent, let us know down below. The company actually, Coco and Eve, when they sent me this, they also sent me this super cute hair towel, which I really love. First of all, I love the print. It's quite thick. It has 2 layers, and you put it on like a hood, and then you of course twist it in the back. And what I love about it, because I had a similar towel to this, which I have shared with you before, but that one you twisted in the back and then stuck it underneath, and it wouldn't always stay. This one has a button at the top, and you just fasten it here, and then it actually stays in place. I think this is genius, and I think this is super cute, and I'm actually going to order another one of these so that when this is in the wash, I have one. So this I have really been loving. And then next, I have the new Atomizer by Maysama. If you've been here for a little while, you have heard me talk about Maysama. In fact, Beth Sanderson, the founder of Maysama, has been on my channel several times. Now, Beth just came out with a couple new skincare products, and this is one of them. And the reason Beth came out with the Atomizer is that one of her products, one of her star products, is the Green Rooibos Press Serum, and that's a mouthful. And that one is really great to use in conjunction with red light therapy. In fact, Beth did some studies, and they showed that using her Green Rooibos Press Serum in conjunction with red light therapy dramatically increased the benefits of red light therapy. However, many of her customers were saying, we don't really want to use a serum, we want something a bit lighter. So Beth listened, and she came out with the Atomizer, which also contains, of course, her star ingredient, Green Rooibos. It also contains a vitamin C derivative, oat bran extract, which is really soothing and hydrating, panthenol or vitamin B5, again, soothing and hydrating, and some other gorgeous ingredients. So this, like the Green Rooibos Press Serum, can be used in conjunction with red light therapy to enhance the benefits. It can be used as a toner or as a throughout the day mist. The best part about this is the smell. Like all of Beth's skincare products, this has this faint smell of tea, which I think is so beautiful. So this I have really been enjoying. And I actually have a full body LED panel. So I have been spritzing this all over my body before I stand in front of my LED panel to, again, enhance the benefits of my red light therapy, but also because I love the smell and it is quite hydrating. So if you're looking for something to use with your red light therapy or a nice toner or mist, give this a try. It's really beautiful. And then next, what else do we have? I have so many things in front of me. Oh yeah. Next, I have something that is not new. I've talked about quite a while ago, over a year ago. In fact, I made a whole video on it, but I wanted to share it with you again for a couple of reasons. And that is the M4 lotion by My Alloy. If you missed the video I made on topical estrogen for skin benefits, I will link it down below. But in that video, I talked about several different studies. In one study, 0.01% estradiol or 0.3% estriol were used topically for 6 weeks. And with both, there was a significant increase in dermal thickness and a reduction in lines and wrinkles. So those studies got me curious, and I started looking for a face cream containing either 0.01% estradiol or 0.3% estriol, and I came across M4. So I have been using this well over a year now. Now, I can't tell you that I have seen huge changes from it, because honestly, it is so difficult to tell what does what, because I am using different things. and other factors come into play, such as diet and lifestyle. But I'm using it because the studies were very convincing and it does make sense to me. We do have estrogen receptors all over, including our skin. So feeding those estrogen receptors topically, it makes sense to me. But like I said, I have been using this for well over a year now, but just recently M4 actually conducted a double-blind placebo-controlled trial involving 90 subjects. 1/3 of the subjects applied 3 pumps of the M4 daily on their face, neck, and chest. The other third applied a cream containing 0.01% estradiol, and the last third applied a placebo. The study went on for 12 weeks, and after 12 weeks, there was an 88% increase in skin elasticity, a 70% improvement in hydration, a 57% improvement in skin texture, a 48% improvement in radiance, and a 68% improvement in overall skin health. No inflammation nor damage to the skin barrier were observed, and there were no changes in blood estrogen levels. So in other words, there was no systemic absorption, which is great to know because I know some of you worry about that. Now, as I mentioned, in this particular trial, subjects applied 3 pumps of the M4. Personally, I have only been using 1 to 1.5 pumps at the most on a daily basis. So I thought I was underusing this, and I wrote to the company. They wrote me right back and they said, no, you're doing fine. The reason they wanted subjects to apply 3 pumps is to see if somebody was to overuse this, would there be systemic absorption? And like I said, even with 3 pumps of this, which is 3 times of what I'm using and what is the daily dose, there was no systemic absorption. So that's great to know. So like I said, I've been using this for well over a year and I really like it. I really like the consistency of it. It is a very light, lotion-like consistency. It sinks right in. It is quite hydrating. But if I want to apply something on top, I feel I can, and it is not blocked by this consistency, so it's not occlusive. However, lately I have been flooded with advertising by Musely. You probably have too. They are great at advertising. They are all over the place. And if you're not familiar with Musely, they are sort of the competitor company to My Alloy. So the M4 cream, which I have been using, is by My Alloy. Musely has very similar products. They have an estriol cream, which also contains 0.3% estriol, just like the M4. They have tretinoin, which by the way, My Alloy does now too. And I just ordered my tretinoin cream. I'm excited to use it. I haven't received it yet, but they actually upped my prescription. So for the last 5 years or so, I have been using 0.05% tretinoin. And My Alloy, they upped my prescription to, I believe, 0.67%. So I'm excited to see what happens using a bit stronger prescription. I will keep you posted. But they have very similar products. However, like I said, Musely is great at advertising. So before I saw these studies done by My Alloy, I got one of their advertisements. I was really intrigued and I ordered this. The main reason I ordered this is because I was hoping that this would be cheaper than the My Alloy. So the My Alloy, the M4, is a subscription. This is sent to me every 3 months, and it is $149 every 3 months. So roughly $50 a month, which is quite steep. This one is advertised as $33 a month, so $99 for 3 months, which of course would be quite a bit cheaper than this one. However, when this came in the mail, I was a bit disappointed because look how tiny it is compared to this one. Now, nowhere on the website, on this bottle, on the box it came in, and does it tell me how much is in here. I had to do a bit of digging, and I found out that this contains 25 ml, whereas this one contains 45 ml, so almost twice as much. So while this is, again, about $50 a month, ending up being 150 for every 3 months, it really lasts me for about 4 months, which makes sense because this is supposed to last for 2 months and this is almost twice as much. I hope I haven't lost you here, but in the end, I don't think this is going to be any cheaper. And I really don't like the consistency of this. So this one, like I said, I really like the consistency. It's a lotion and I don't feel it's occlusive. So if I put something on top, it will still get absorbed. This one feels honestly like Vaseline. And they say to apply a pea-sized amount, which is about this much, versus a pump of this is, well, it's maybe just a tiny bit more. But like I said, this is 45 ml, this is 25 ml. So I'm going to take this one off so I can show you the consistency of this one. I would say this feels like Vaseline. It is really greasy. You can see how shiny it is. It's really greasy and sticky. I have a bit of the M4 on here. Really greasy and sticky. And I would think if I apply something on top of this, this would block it. This would be occlusive because again, it does feel like Vaseline. So I do not like the consistency at all. And in the end, I don't think it's going to be any cheaper. But the way they advertise it makes you think it is going to be cheaper. If you have tried this, please share your experience with it down below. Now, of course, I'm going to use it. I'm not too wild about using it because of the consistency, but I'm going to use it up. If I see a huge difference with this compared to this, I will of course keep you posted, but I doubt it. It is the same main ingredient. Both of these contain 0.3% estriol. So I doubt I will see a difference, but if, I will of course keep you posted. I also have 2 supplements which I have recently incorporated into my routine. And one of them is a collagen activator by AVEA. AVEA is a Swiss company, and I heard about them from a German YouTuber. I can't remember her name now. I will link her channel down below for those of you who speak German. But this I got really curious about because, of course, there is a lot of talk about collagen being quite beneficial for us. Personally, I don't want to use a collagen powder for several reasons. So I was looking for a collagen activator that actually makes sense. Now, there are a lot of collagen activators on the market, but when you look at what's in them, it's like, why bother? So this one has the 3 amino acids needed for collagen production: glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline, but actually in big quantities. It has 5 grams of glycine and then 1.5 grams of each hydroxyproline and proline. It also contains vitamin C, which is crucial for collagen production. It contains astaxanthin, and I think that's it. It might have something else. Let's see. Oh yeah, I totally forgot. It also contains calcium alpha ketoglutarate, and it contains 1000 milligrams of that and 200 milligrams algae powder, which provide 4 milligrams of astaxanthin. So I have been using this for roughly 4 weeks now. This is my 2nd container, and one of these lasts for 30 days. I have 2 more of these in my cupboard, so I will be using this for at least 4 months and see if I can see a difference. It is a powder. You just open it up, put it in some water, and it's an interesting flavor. It is raspberry mint. I'm not sure how they came up with that combination, but it doesn't taste bad at all. So I will keep you posted on this. But like I said, I am excited to have found a collagen activator that actually has some good ingredients in it and enough of them to hopefully actually make a difference. If you have tried this, please let us know down below how you like it and what you experienced with it. And then another supplement I recently incorporated into my routine is Spermadine. After having had 2 guests on my channel who stressed the importance of Spermadine for longevity. In fact, Spermadine is said to be the single most predictor of longevity. Spermadine is found in certain foods, such as wheat germ, tempeh, and mushrooms. However, I have a gluten sensitivity, so I can't do wheat germ, which is unfortunate because wheat germ is quite high in Spermadine and it is really inexpensive. Tempeh to me is an acquired taste. I'm not too wild about it. And while I like mushrooms, I don't eat them that frequently. So I probably don't get enough spermidine in my diet. In fact, Dr. Greger said to shoot for 20 milligrams of spermidine per day. I know I don't get that much in my diet, which is why I decided to supplement. Now, most spermidine supplements are made from wheat germ, because again, wheat germ is quite high in spermidine. But Do Not Age actually has a synthetic spermidine supplement, which I started taking maybe 2 weeks ago. So too soon to tell, but I will keep you posted. If you take this and you have noticed any benefits, please share them down below. And then the last thing I have been loving, I can't show you right here, but I will take a picture of it. It is a shower filter one of you had suggested. I recently did a video showing you around our new apartment. And in that video, I asked you for suggestions for a shower filter. And you gave me so many great suggestions. I jumped on the very first one. One of you suggested the Jollie shower filter. I looked it up right away. It looked perfect. I ordered it. It came within 2 days. I installed it. It was super easy to install. And I love it. Thank you so much for the suggestion. The water quality here in San Diego is not the greatest. The water is really hot and is full of minerals. So each time I showered and washed my hair, I felt like my hair was just getting dirtier instead of cleaner. It had this buildup on it. It didn't look nice. It didn't feel nice. And neither did my skin. My skin was getting really dry. So with this shower filter, immediately I felt a difference. The water just felt nicer. And I have washed my hair twice now with it. What a difference. My hair feels like my hair again. It feels clean, it feels soft, and my skin feels so much better as well. So thank you so much for the suggestion. I absolutely love this shower filter, and I will of course link it down below in case any of you need a good shower filter. So these are all the things I have been loving. Again, I'm sorry if this video was really long. I hope you enjoyed it. I would love to know some things you have been enjoying. Please share them down below. Any questions or comments, of course, please share them down below. Always love to hear from you. And that's it for this video. Thank you so much for being here. Until next time, bye.